everyone, this is Ryan and welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock Edition tutorial, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build a villager zombifying machine that looks a bit like this. Now the reason why this is useful is because if we come over here into our little trading hall designed by Silent Whisper, this isn't the focus of the video however, but if we look at this villager here, he would have sold us efficiency 5 for 64 emeralds, but now it's just 1 emerald. So if I get myself the emerald then, so let's go emerald, and then if we grab ourselves a book here, as you can see I only need 1 emerald. Okay, if we can just grab 1 like that, and then we can get rid of all of this. 1 book, of course, that's always been the same. I can go and do this for 1 emerald, and now I have myself an efficiency 5 book. He will give me 1 emerald for a single piece of paper. Okay, so let me demonstrate how this works. So obviously it would be connected up to a villager breeder and a villager trading hall over this. So I'm just gonna imagine that we got a villager in from the breeder. Obviously it does work with a villager breeder, but I'm just gonna spawn 1 in, and then we just send this guy off. Obviously he'd be moving along, and then he comes over here. As you can see, he stops, and now what we can do is place down our lectern, and then after a bit he will link to a librarian, and then okay, he gives us the bookshelf trade. Say I don't want that, so let's go break the lectern, let's place it down again, and he goes to a no job, and now he becomes a librarian again, and we have a bookshelf again. So we just keep doing this until we get something we like. So now I got something I like. Let's say I really want channeling, so now what I'll do is I will go and get myself some paper. You only need 24. I will trade with this guy, and there we go. He is now locked in. We've traded with him. So now what we can do is just nudge him along here, and he will make his way into our little machine, and then the zombie will kill him. He will get back in the minecart as a zombie villager. He will take no burning damage, and then he's just going to come here, and what we can do is give him a splash potion of weakness, and then give him a golden apple, and he will begin to cure. Alright, so this guy has just cured, and then after a while he will go along the minecart by himself. As you can see, we didn't even need to do anything, and he will just by himself with his AI control his minecart, and he will go by himself. So there we go, he's moving. It does take a bit of time, it's kind of random, but it happens pretty quickly, and now he just goes off into our little trading hall, and this can be whatever you want. Alright, I should probably also show you this guy right here. As you can see, he gives us channeling for 1 emerald. We can buy paper for 1 emerald as well, as you can see there. And yeah, it works very nicely. I just want to mention this is my own design. I came up with it myself, so I worked very hard on it. I hope you like it. Now, this design is for 1.16 plus on Bedrock Edition. And before we got on with the design, I thought I should just mention a few things first. So firstly, make sure that this is at least 100 blocks away from anything villager related. So anywhere with a bed, a workstation, villagers, anything like that, this has to be at least 100 blocks away. Just to be safe, I'd go 128 because you don't want to risk it. So just, go a bit further away from that. And also, this only works on hard mode. As you can see, my difficulty is hard. If you do this on normal, it does still work, but 50% of the time your villagers will die, 50% of the time they'll become zombie villagers, and if you do this on easy, then they're just going to die each time. It's a difficulty thing, but on hard mode, 100% of the time they will become zombie villagers. Okay, so let's begin the block by block tutorial. There is a materials list in the description below. So the first thing we want to do is remove these last 2 rails of our rail track, and then place a powered rail like this. If it's facing in the wrong direction, just place a rail here, break it, and now the powered rail is facing this way. Now we're going to come behind here, and we're going to place 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks like so, and then place a bed here and a solid block on top of here. Now I'm using stone bricks. You can use any solid block you like. Now the reason this is important is because it will make the villager link to the bed, which means you can change his job and stuff, but he also won't sleep in the bed, which means that you can change his job at night. Now that we've done that, we're going to come underneath here. We're going to go 2 blocks underneath, and then we are going to come out 9 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then, whoops, that was an accident. So now we're going to place a temporary block here and a temporary block here. Then we're going to go 1 up, and we can remove our temporary blocks. And we want to build 1 high walls all the way along these 8 blocks. You can leave the 9th block on here, but you're going to need a wall right here. Now on the 4th block along here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to break this block and place a block like so. We're going to place a rail with we're not going to put the minecart on it yet, but this is where our zombie is going to go. We're going to leave that for the time being, but we'll come to that later. Now over here we're going to build ourselves a little platform, and this, by the way, is where we're going to change the villager's job. I would recommend putting like your workstation here, because then when you're nudging the minecart across, it'll be easier. So the villager will be here. You place down your workstation, say like a lectern or a compost or whatever you want. You see his trade, see if you like it. If you don't, break it. If you do, then you trade with him and then nudge him along like I showed earlier on. Okay, so now what we want to do is come along here and place a temporary block here. Go 2 blocks up like here, and these are both temporary, and then place 2 blocks here, and you can remove these 3 blocks. This is important because it means that your villager will land here every single time, and it won't go launched across over the zombie. Also, make sure that you build these walls up so that he won't get launched sideways. Now we are going to build a little thing along here. So just imagine that this is your track that would just go along. We are also going to place a powered rail on this block right here, and obviously we can just build ourselves a nice little platform. This is where the zombie villager will get cured. So what I would recommend doing is placing 2 temporary blocks here, and then place a solid block above his head, and then 1 here. This is going to stop the zombie villager from burning in the sunlight. I would also highly recommend just connecting these 2 platforms up together, just so that you can get from one to the other easily. Alright, so now it's time to get your zombie in, but first I would recommend just break this, place a sign on there, and then you want to build yourself a little minecart track, just probably going along there, and then get a zombie in here. Place a block here as well, just so that your zombie will stay here on this exact block. If he's in a minecart, he will not move. But the zombie you get is quite important. It can be a husk, anything you want, as long as it's a zombie that will attack villagers. But you need to make sure that it will pick up items. Throw it a sword, and it must pick up the sword. This is so that it can kill the villager in time without it, because if as its fist, it needs to hit the villager too many times and it would have gone across. So this design will not work. Chuck him like a stone sword, iron sword, whatever sword you want, just stone at least, and he will pick it up. If that's a good zombie, then he'll pick it up. If he doesn't pick it up, then he can't pick items up, so you can just get rid of him. Now, another thing to note is he will only pick items up if he is not aggro on you. So he cannot be aggro on you. I will put a video link in the description to how I got the zombie into my thing in my Let's Play world. I used an invis pot and stuff, so just check it out, link in the description. But you just want to make sure that you can get your zombie in here. Before you do that though, just do this so that your zombie doesn't burn. It's kind of important. Okay, so I have got a zombie that can hold a sword. I decided to give him an iron sword. You can give him a stone sword, it really doesn't matter. But now that you have him in, just place in a few solid blocks behind him. Place this here as well, just so that he's boxed in. He won't really go anywhere because he's in a minecart, but just to be safe, do this. You also want to make sure that you place a solid block here. This is so that when the villager comes along here and gets converted into a zombie villager, he will pop out the minecart. You want him to get back in the minecart, because otherwise he's just going to run off and burn. And placing the solid block here will make sure that he hits this block and goes straight back in his minecart and will not take any burning damage. It is important that your zombie is in the minecart, because otherwise when the villager gets converted into a zombie villager, he'll pop out the minecart, and then this guy will hop into that minecart, and then your zombie villager will run off. So make sure this guy is in a minecart. So now that you've done that, also make sure there's a sign there. You can place in your water here, and it will flow all the way along right up to this track. We are pretty much done with everything now, so obviously this would go off to another thing. I would just recommend doing this so that it's easier to do your splash potion, you can't miss. And yeah, you're pretty much completely done with the design. So like I said, make sure that you are on hard difficulty. Okay, so let's imagine that we have a villager in here. Conveniently, he is a librarian, but not that that matters. You can do this with any job. It will work with absolutely any job. So he's going to come along here, and then he will stop right here. And now he will link to his bed. As you can see, we have the green particles, and then if we place down the lectern, he will become a librarian, and then we get a trait. So Bane of Arthropods, maybe I don't want that. We break the lectern, and then he will give us another thing. Multi-shot, I don't really want that. And just to show you, we can do this with any job. So let's say I don't want a librarian, I want a fisherman. As you can see now, he will become a fisherman. I'm guessing most of you will want librarians because you can get enchanted books, and obviously that is very good. So we got the bookshelf. Let's say I really want the bookshelf, so I'm going to get myself some paper, which is right there. Let's give him my paper, and now he is locked in. This is important that he locks in because otherwise he might just randomly switch, and he might be curing a zombie villager, wasting a gapple and a weakness potion for the wrong trait. So now we're going to send him across, and he will go into his little thing. Now I will also just grab my, oh wait, you want to see it, don't you? So there we go, he is now a zombie villager. And with this here, the minecarts may get stuck, so you just have to make sure before this, I forgot to do this, just push in your zombies so that it can go through. It's important that he goes all the way in, so let me just demonstrate it one more time in case you don't want the minecart to get stuck. So make sure you push him in right to the edge of the block, and then if we send in our villager, as you can see, he'll get killed. The minecarts will not get stuck, and he'll just go straight back into his minecart. So I don't want you. Okay, sorry, I did miss out that step, but don't worry, it still does work. Now I will grab my splash potion of weakness, which is right here, and I will also grab myself a golden apple. And what we do now is give him his weakness and give him his gapple. He will cure, go all the way across, and give us his trades for 1 emerald like I showed you earlier. So I'm just going to wait here until he cures. It takes around about 2 to 5 minutes, so really not that long. And meanwhile, if you want to be efficient, you could just get another villager and sort out his trade. And then while this guy's curing, you get him be the ideal trade, and then you send this guy off, and then you send him through the machine and stuff. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait for him to cure, and I'll let you know once he's cured. There we go, our guy just cured, and he will eventually go off on his way. So there we go, just by himself, he will move his minecart like I showed you earlier. But if we look at him here, as you can see, 1 emerald for the bookshelf, and he's just going off. So you put like a powered rail and then send him off to your trading hall. But as you can see here, 1 paper for 1 emerald. As you can see, beautiful stuff. What's this? Lure. And yeah, all the other trades will also be 1 emerald. This is permanent, by the way. Even if I accidentally hit this guy, as you can see, it's all still 1 emerald. So it works very nicely. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope this really helped you out, and you can use this in your world to get really good discounted prices. Because like if you do this with a Fletcher and a librarian, literally 1 stick plus 1 book gives you a mending book or a sharpness 5 book. It's so overpowered. You have to use this in your world. It really isn't that complicated. Just hook it up to a villager breeder and a villager trading hall. There's so many designs out there. If you want to see a good design or anything, then just look on my Let's Play. Both the breeder and the trading hall I use, they work very nicely. And yeah, it's brilliant, really. He will restock when he has a workstation and stuff, when he's in a trading hall. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later. Bye!